What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now, the most recent Fortnite update, also known as V25.30, well, it actually revealed a lot of stuff about the lore. Let me explain. If you equip the Triach Nox skin and then talk to Aurora, well, then she would say something very interesting. I know you're hiding from Triach Aurora, but even you cannot stop the dawn. Now, this is actually very important, but before we get fully into it, let me just explain what a triarchy is. The word triarchy revolves around 3 rulers, and if you are one of these 3 rulers, then you are a triarch. And with the name of Triach Nox, obviously means he's part of a triarchy. We did know about this last season, but we just did not know much about Triach Nox, and we didn't even know anything about the rest of the triarchy. But in today's video, I actually have a lot more information about this triarchy, and not just about Triach Nox as well. I will talk about him, but we gotta go over the other stuff as well. And that other stuff being information about Triach Aurora and another possible triarch as well. And I do also need to shout out my friend Moony as well, for helping me out and giving me deep information about the triarchy. So go check her out, her socials are in the description. But like said, let's get straight into the video. You see, everything that I'm going to be talking about today ties into Greek mythology, because believe it or not, there is actually a very big bridge between Fortnite and Greek mythology. For example, within the name of islands and the name of characters as well. They all mean something, and it's something to do with Greek mythology. And I do realize that some of you probably don't want to learn Greek mythology, but when you start looking at it and comparing it to Fortnite, it does actually make a lot of sense. Look at this guy, Triach Nox. And you may just think that he's a character in the darker side of the Fortnite lore. And you're right, but it gets a lot more darker when you look at his side to do with Greek mythology. You see, appearing on the screen right now is a woman named Nyx. And Nyx is a character in Greek mythology. But Nyx and Nox sound kind of familiar, don't you think? Well, Nyx's Roman name is Nox, but their Greek name is Nyx. But when you translate it into English, it means night. Now, before you start saying, well, Triach Nox is a boy, I know that. But Nyx is not actually Triach Nox in the game. Nox is just a creature which is embedded with the last reality. But Nox is part of a triarchy, and every member in this triarchy represents a Greek god. For example, Triach Nox representing Nyx. And every triarch has the same abilities and personalities than their god, or goddess. But let me just explain a few things about Nyx. Nyx was the goddess of the night, one of the primordial gods, who emerged as the dawn of creation. And so Triach Nox's special ability is being the god of night, or may I say, pure darkness. She was a child of chaos, which I will get to in a moment, and coupling with Erebos, who is the god of darkness. And guys, just for your information, Erebos is the god of darkness, but Nox is actually a very dark character themselves. Like, Triach Nox's description is literally where he walks, darkness falls. But guys, do remember that Nox represents the goddess of night. And, yeah, obviously Nox's intentions are full of darkness, and the guy's literally full of it. But just remember, Triach Nox represents Nyx, the goddess of night. He doesn't represent Erebos, also known as the god of darkness. She produced Aether and Hemera, who source around light and day. Alone, she spawned a brood of dark spirits, including the 3 fates: sleep, death, strife, and pain. Nyx was an ancient deity, usually envisaged as the very substance of the night, a veil of dark mists drawn across the sky to obscure the light of Aether, the shining blue of the heavens. Her opposite number was Hemera, who scattered the mists of night and dawn. In ancient art, Nyx was depicted as either a winged goddess or a charioteer, sometimes crowned with an aureole of dark mists. Nyx's summary: parents Chaos, and she has no father. Husband Erebus, goddess of the night. Home Erebus and sky. So basically her home is darkness. Retinue: Hypnus, Astra, Hesperus, and Oneiroi. Yeah, Greek mythology is confusing as fuck. And her Roman name is Nox. So now let's just go over a little under 1 minute recap. Nyx is the goddess of the night, but her Roman name is Nox. That's where the name of Triach Nox originates from, and Triach Nox represents Nyx, and every triarch represents some god within Greek mythology. Triach Nox is not actually a girl in Fortnite, Triach Nox is a boy. But in Greek mythology, they're a girl, and she is married to Erebus, the god of darkness. But Nyx does have a lot of darkness within herself as well. And most importantly, so does Nox. Nyx had an uncountable amount of children, and she would usually wear a crown, just like on the Triarch Nox skin in Fortnite. Nyx's mother is called Chaos, who, could have a resemblance with Chaos Agent, but we are not 100% sure. But guys, I'm gonna say it once and I'm gonna say it again. Nyx in Greek mythology and Triarch Nox in Fortnite are not the same person. Triarch Nox just resembles Nyx from Greek mythology. But they do have the same abilities and personalities, and it's like that for every Triarch. But now we gotta get into the alleged Triarch Aurora. And like Nox, well, we also have some information on them. You see, appearing on the screen right now is a woman named Eos. Her actual name is Eos, her Roman name is Aurora, and Eos translates into dawn. Eos was the rosy-fingered goddess of the dawn. She and her siblings Helios, the sun, and Selene, which is the moon, were numbered amongst the second-generation Titan gods. Eos rose into the sky from the river Oceanus at the start of each day, and with her rays of light dispersed the mists of night. She was depicted either driving a chariot drawn by winged horses or borne aloft on her own wings. The reason why I got excited when it said Selene is because we're going to talk about her in a minute. Eos had an unquenchable desire for handsome young men. Some say as the result of a curse laid upon her by the goddess Aphrodite. Her lovers included Orion, Paphon, Kephalos, and Tiphanos, 3 of which she ravished away to distant lands. The Trojan prince Tiphanos became her official consort. When the goddess petitioned Zeus for his immortality, she neglected also to request eternal youth. In time, he shriveled up by old age and transformed into a grasshopper. Eos was closely identified with Hemera, the primordial goddess of day. In some myths, such as the tales of Orion and Kephalos, Eos stood virtually as a non-virginal substitute for Artemis. So that was actually some pretty interesting information about Eos. But we gotta talk about her Fortnite side. We gotta talk about Triarch Aurora. So the main question is, what will she look like? Well, you're probably like, how are we meant to know? But I think we do know. And that is by the survey skins. For my first guess, we have this woman. Now, I don't know. She just looks pretty important to the Fortnite story, and, yeah, that's about it. Next, we have this one, and, yeah, she's been pretty popular recently. People did think she was the Cube Queen. I don't know why. Actually, no, I kind of do see why, but that's not the point. She does give you a little bit of a vibe with Triarch Nox, and, yeah, she definitely looks like someone who would fit in the last reality. And also, guys, we do need to remember that Eos has wings, so, like, I think for the both 2 of these survey skins that I've mentioned so far, wings would fit on them, and especially for a glider, like a built-in glider. And also another shrine got revealed in Rumble Ruins, and this shrine heavily reminding you of that survey skin, the one that could be Triarch Aurora. Now, going back to when I spoke about Eos, I mentioned the name Selene, and I got excited when it said that. And obviously I'm talking about Selene from the Chapter 4 Season 1 Battle Pass. The reason why is because she might actually be related to the Triarchy. Moony I'll let you explain.
Thank you, Theo, for shedding light on the subject. Now let's dive into the fascinating connection between Selene and her relation to Eos, as well as her distinct style known as Moonglow Selene. Selene, a significant figure in Greek mythology, is intricately associated with the moon's captivating allure. This connection extends seamlessly to a depiction within Fortnite, specifically in the Moonglow Selene style. This style showcases a striking crescent moon, elegantly adorning her visage, encapsulating the lunar essence she personifies. Yet, the connections don't stop there. Her old file name was Luna Max. Luna is the name of the Roman version of Selene. She also has the style Sunlit Selene, which could relate to her brother Helios. Helios is like her. Instead of being the goddess of the moon, he's the god of the sun. Interestingly, we have talks and an eclipse going on right now in Fortnite, which will be interesting to see how that ties in. This might be a bit of a stretch, but Selene is also described as having horns, like the moon. But I could simply see the horns on her style just being a crescent moon, because it's on her face, it's not really horns, but it is something to think about. Now, I don't really know how Selene is going to play a part in the story. I think she could be our moon god, but I don't know. I think even if she isn't our moon goddess, she's at least a follower of the moon goddess. But now I'm done talking about Selene, I want to talk a bit more about the Triachy, because there's a hint to what they were all back in Chapter 4, Season 2. In Chapter 4, Season 2, 3 scythe pickaxes released, and they are the Sunfall Scythe, the Dawning Scythe, and the Midnight Scythe. The Sunfall Scythe could be related to an unknown Triachy member. We don't know who this member is yet. When they're revealed, we don't know. But then there's the Dawning Scythe, which we now know is related to Triach or Aurora, as she is associated with the dawn. And there's the Midnight Scythe, which seems like it could be related to Nox, but we don't have really definitive answers on their roles in the Triachy yet. All we know is that Aurora is definitively the evening / the dawn. She is the evening star, after all.
Thank you, Moony. So now, as like Moony said, Helios is the god of the sun. And by looking at those pickaxes, well, I think our best guess right now for the third triarch would be Helios. And as Helios is the god of the sun, well, he would fit perfectly into the Sunfall variant. And also, the fact that it says Sunfall as well makes it coincidence, like, the last reality wouldn't accept any source of sun or brightness as it's a very, very dark faction. But because it's Sunfall, could make us believe that, well, basically the next triarch is gonna be representing Helios. And this would honestly fit perfectly well with the last reality if it's gonna be Sunfall. Alright, so let's talk about this. He can be called either Helios or Helios. His Roman name is Sol, so if he was a triarch, then he would be called a triarch Sol. And, it translates, well, Helios translates into sun. Helios, or Helios, was the Titan god of the sun, a guardian of oaths, and the god of sight. He dwelt in a golden palace in the river Oceanus, at the far ends of the earth from which he emerged each dawn, crowned with the aureole of the sun, driving a chariot drawn by 4 winged steeds. When he reached the land of Hesperides in the far west, he descended into a golden cup, which bore him through the northern streams of Oceanus back to his rising place in the east. Helios was depicted as a handsome, usually beardless, man clothed in purple robes and crowned with the shining aureole of the sun. His sun chariot was drawn by 4, sometimes winged, steeds. Helios was identified with several other gods of fire and light, such as Hephaestus, and light-bringing Phoebus Apollon, Phoebus Apollo. Helios summary. Parents: Hyperion and Thea. Wives: Clymene and Rhode, god of the sun and also sight. Home: River Oceanus. Symbols: aureole. Sacred animals: rooster and a white horse. Sacred plants: black poplar, heliotrope, and frankincense. Retinue, Eosphorus, Horae, Thea. Other names, Hyperion, Roman name, Sol. So if Helios, or should I say Triarch Sol, but I'm just going to call him Helios, well, if he is the actual next Triarch, well, the third Triarch, what would his skin look like? Again, we gotta look at survey skins. Right now, our best guess is this skin appearing on the screen right now. I mean, it does have pretty bright colors, especially the gold and the light blue, and it does also look like that he has an Auroral as well. And by looking at Triarch Nox and that survey skin, which is potentially gonna be Triarch Aurora, well, by their design format, well, I think there is a little bit of a similarity. And this guy obviously does look like someone to fit in the last reality. So, we have Triarch Nox, also known as Nyx, the goddess of the moon. We also have Triarch Aurora, also known as Eos, also known as the goddess of the dawn. And then potentially, we have Triarch Sol, also known as Helios, also known as the god of the sun. Mix those three together and then we have a fucking triarchy. And the person teasing this all this time was Selene. And also Epic Games sent this out to Shark Shock, which honestly does look like Selene's horns. But yeah, that was my long video about the full-ass triarchy being revealed. Again, thank you so much to Moony for having her own part and helping me with this video. Her socials are in the description, so go check her out. But yeah, that is all from me today. I do have a couple of videos up my sleeves, and I have hope in them. So yeah, hopefully they will do well. Anyway, I'll see you guys in another video. Goodbye.